friends, welcome back. Last time we talked about starting to edit our writing, and when we edit our writing, we're making changes to make it longer and stronger and better than ever. Today we're going to practice one more strategy. Last time we worked on beginnings, and we worked on really describing that setting to hook in your reader. Today I'm going to talk about something that's really important in writing: frozen characters. I'm not talking about Elsa and Anna and Olaf and Kristoff and Sven. No, not the movie Frozen. Y'all are silly. But I'm talking about characters that don't move. Many times we are guilty of writing stories where characters don't move. I went to the store. I bought some candy. It tasted yummy. I liked it. Well, in there, I never really got any action I did described. I didn't do anything. So I want you to think about, when you read your stories, I want you to try to act out some of the things. And if you can't act it out, if you can't do what the writing says, then your characters are frozen. And that is not a good thing. We do not want frozen characters. So I'm going to talk to you today about how to unfreeze your characters. Behind me, I have a poster about unfreezing our characters. One way to unfreeze characters is to make them move. We're going to come back to that later. But another way to unfreeze them is to use dialogue. Dialogue. That's a fancy word. Well, dialogue is just a fancy word for talking. That's all it's going to do. Make your characters talk. If they're talking, they're not frozen. Their mouth is moving. So I have some examples of dialogue I wrote on this piece of paper. I said, "I want to see some animals," said Sam. "Me too," shouted Michael. When you're using dialogue, you want to make sure that you use quotation marks. These little guys right here, these are called quotation marks. Quotation marks are like two little commas that go in the air. They go around the words that the speaker is saying. All right? So if I'm the speaker and I said, "I want to see animals," then the quotation marks are going around what I said. But it doesn't go around the ending that tells who's talking, like "said Sam." Because when you're talking, you don't say, "I want to see animals, I said." That's not really how we say it. So quotation marks are going to go around what the character or the person is saying. Today, we're going to add dialogue to our stories. All right? So what you need to do is you need to have your writing journal. You need to have a different colored pen or colored pencil. Today I have green. And you need to gather up those materials so that we can make another edit to your already wonderful personal narratives. If you need to pause the video to go get your materials, pause the video. All right, so now you're back and you have your writing. And we are going to look at our story. And I want you to think about a time in that small moment. I forgot to tell you to go back to that same small moment you added your beginning to. And I want you to go back to your story and find a place where you think a character might have said something. When you think about, oh, well, maybe I said something, or maybe my mom, or maybe my brother, or uncle, or sister, or somebody said something. For me, I went to page 3. That was the page in The Time I Almost Got Eaten by a Bear, where I hear an animal and I hear leaves crunching. That's a time when I said something. All right, so I went back to my story. And on page 3, it says, "After driving for a while, I heard some leaves crunching and something growl." Right there, I said something, and I remember that in my small moment. I said, "Did you hear that?" I asked. And I took my writing and I used that caret, that little part triangle, and I added in my dialogue right where I wanted it to go. Now, it's kind of smashed in on the side, and that's okay, as long as you can still read it. But I added in my piece of dialogue right there on my page. But then I went back and I kept reading. I said, "We stopped and I looked everywhere for the sound." And then I remembered Michael said something to me then. And he said, "Can you see anything?" asked Michael. So I added that in as my next sentence. "Can you see anything?" asked Michael. "I'm trying to figure out where the noise came from," I told him. And so there, I've unfrozen my characters. I never talked about what we did, and so I took dialogue just making us talk and unfroze characters. Now today, you're going to find a place in your writing, a piece that you can add some dialogue to. You only have to find one. I got lucky and found a couple. You only have to find one. If you find more than one, that is amazing. But we only need you to find one place where you can add in a line of dialogue. Remember, it can go down at the bottom and draw an arrow up to where it needs to go. You can draw it at the bottom and draw an arrow, or you can use a caret and put it in where it would go and write on the blank line. That's up to you in the space that you have on your writing. But what you are going to do today is you are going to add in one piece of dialogue. Don't forget your quotation marks. They go around what the character is saying. Can't wait to see what you guys are adding to your writings. See you next time.